Isn't it crazy? What else could Elon Musk buy for $43 billion? What Twitter could do as a privately held company? Will Musk's hands-off ideal for Twitter have broad appeal? The tech giant Elon Musk is only becoming omnipresent and omnipotent. He is the founder, CEO, and chief engineer at SpaceX, angel investor, CEO, and product architect of Tesla Inc., founder of the Fairly Boring Company, and co-founder of Neuralink and OpenAI, generally contrary to popular belief. With an estimated sort of net really worth of around US $221.4 billion as of July 2022, which definitely is quite significant. Now he is trying to be the owner of one of the most popular social media sites as well. Want to know more about it? Stay tuned. Hey folks, welcome back, Money Future. We are back with another interesting video. Today we are going to talk about the news Elon Musk bought Twitter for $43 billion and renamed it. Does it so? So without any further do's, let's get into the video right away. Elon Musk, the current wealthiest man in the world, offered to kind of buy Twitter outright for $43 billion and essentially take the company really private. That is quite a lot of money to basically spend on a company that allows users to post their thoughts in 280-character increments in a very major way. I think it's very important for there to be an inclusive arena for free speech. Musk, already San Francisco-based Twitter's second-largest shareholder, said at a TED Talk in Vancouver when asked about his bid. This variety is now not a way to sort of clearly make money, Musk noted, all via the TED Talk, very opposite to famous belief. My sturdy intuitive feel genuinely is that having a for all intents and purposes public platform that in particular is maximally surely depended on and greatly inclusive is extremely vital to the future of civilization. Musk, for all intents and purposes, added in a massive way. Musk, a self-described free speech absolutist, has been critical of the social media platform and its policies, and recently ran a poll on Twitter asking users if they believed it adheres to the principle of free speech. More than 70% of the 2 million votes cast said no. After Twitter banned former President Donald Trump over worries around incitement of violence following closing year's U.S. Capitol assault by using his supporters, Musk tweeted, "A lot of human beings are going to be incredibly sad with West Coast high tech as the de facto arbiter of free speech." The surprising move had many at The Verge wondering, what else ought to Musk spend $43 billion on? We are questioning whether we should grant some preferences in case Twitter's board decides they don't like the offer. Musk, for the most phase, has amassed type of extra than 80 million followers, considering the fact that becoming a member of Twitter in 2009, and if truth be told, has used it to specifically make for all intents and functions numerous announcements, consisting of typically teasing a go private really deal for Tesla, that for the most section landed him in hot water with regulators, which sort of is quite significant. If he truly essentially needs to take Twitter for all intents and purposes personal, his specifically previous run-ins with regulators may no longer pose an obstacle, but it would possibly make viable financing sources leery of providing the cash for the basically deal, until he is willing to pledge a giant portion of his Tesla holdings to collateralize the debt. Virtually, said Howard Fisher, an associate at law company Moses. The most normally infuriating issue about Elon's offer is Twitter specifically is no longer broken, or so they essentially thought. It's a cursed hell site, sure, but that's a type of Twitter's entire shtick, which mainly is fairly significant. There are, however, a number of institutional issues plaguing this U.S. in a simply foremost way. And the world, that $43 billion should sort of go a long variety of long way to solving. For instance, after one of his own tweets, the United Nations World Food Program detailed a plan where Elon ought to guide 42 million very human beings dealing with famine by way of a form capability of giving them one essentially meal per, for all intents and functions, individual per day for a year, which is pretty significant. The fee of that layout is the refined way, $6.6 billion. So ostensibly, $43 billion ought to primarily go a hell of a lot noticeably further in a subtle way. Elon did generally give up donating $5.7 billion to charity in November. However, the UNWFP reportedly didn't basically see a phase of that check, normally contrary to popular belief. But okay, maybe Elon doesn't favor literally doing this very real, tangible factor that's already been laid out for him in an element in a delicate way. There commonly are masses of actually different institutional troubles he could basically throw cash at that would have a demonstrable influence on people's lives in a subtle way. See Antonio's recommendation below. Buying Twitter will just in particular provide the rest of us with greater brain worms than we already for the most face have. Twitter Chief Executive Officer Parag Agrawal sought to reassure personnel all through an all-hands meeting that the enterprise company used to be once now not being held hostage by using the capacity of information Elon Musk's provide to purchase the company, a furnish for all intents and functions acquainted with to be counted knowledgeable Reuters. As Agrawal took questions from a crew of people that had been posted on the company's essentially Slack messaging service, he prompted personnel to, if truth be informed, continue to be entered and advised them that we as employees basically controls what happens. Commonly stated the source, who did now no longer in particular pick to be recognized due to the reality they for all intents and features have been not now for all intents and functions authorized to a variety of speak publicly on the matter. Agrawal instructed the workforce that the board used to be continuing to assess Musk's offer, but that he was once confined in what he should share with the employees. In one part of the query and reply session, one worker requested how the company arrived at the selection to provide Musk with a board seat. Are we just going to essentially start inviting any and all billionaires to the board, in accordance with a part of the assembly heard by using Reuters? Agrawal simply answered that the board genuinely used to be appearing in the pretty superb hobby of shareholders in a refined way. I basically have a very strong element of view that people who in fact are quintessential of our service, their voice for all intents and functions is something that we ought to usually emphasize so that we can simply analyze and basically get better. He literally said in a delicate way. Another employee submitted a query asking kind of Agrawal to truly address how he viewed Musk's definition of, for all intents and functions, free speech and whether or no longer aligned with how Twitter processes the concept. The insanity persisted as Musk additionally shared clearly more of his pretty wild ideas in his kind of the current day polls that he held on Twitter, which sincerely is rather significant. In his cutting-edge poll, he counseled a title change, asking whether or not it used to be time to, for all intents and features, get rid of the W in Twitter, which is extraordinarily significant. The billionaire gave voters two choices, yes and of course. If changed, the new title would, for all intents and purposes, be Titter in the most important way. More than 56% of the voters wanted Twitter to be the name barring a W. The rest said, of course, in a truly predominant way. Also, Elon Musk changed his Twitter title to Elon Musk after Ramzan Kadyrov, the head of the Chechen Republic, took a dig at the Tesla and SpaceX CEO as he overtly challenged Russian President Vladimir Putin for a single combat over Ukraine. Over a 10-year period in the US, 19% of transit cars and 6% of fixed guideway factors like for most phase tracks and tunnels had been rated in poor situations in a really massive way. Currently, there is a $176 billion transit backlog, a deficit that truly is anticipated to develop to greater than $270 billion through 2029 in a big way. Musk should especially minimize that amount through at least a third of the money he's using to buy the Hen website. Taking a bus or a subway rather than driving an automobile, even an in particular electric-powered one, sort of is one of the most fairly high-quality moves an individual can take to preserve strength and honestly decrease climate-destroying carbon emissions in a most important way. Musk surely is a very kind of wealthy individual who could make a serious impact on our survivability as a species if he invested his money wisely, instead of doing anything nonsense he's thinking of with Twitter, which sort of is quite significant. So this was all about the video. I hope you liked the information given in the video. If you have anything in your mind, feel free to comment below. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to get more videos like this. Also, hit the bell icon to get the notification of the latest updates in the channel. Thanks for watching.